One obvious thing you might like to do when using ChatGPT is to get it to classify data for you into specific different types of labels. For example, if you're looking at reviews, maybe that's whether the review was positive or whether the review was negative. Let's have a look at how we can do this using LangChain and the ChatGPT API. First, you're going to have to install LangChain and LangChain OpenAI, and then what we're going to do is import the chat models, Chat OpenAI, System Message, and Human Message. After running that as well, you'll also need to import your OpenAI API key if you haven't done so already. As you'll see here, we've got a list of different types of reviews where each review is based on a movie. It says things like I love or I hate this movie or this movie's a waste of time. And so what we want to do is build a classifier using ChatGPT that allows us to get structured labeled data from this review text. So we've got our Python list, which is a list of dictionaries. We can instantiate our Chat OpenAI model, and then we can store our classifications in a Python list. We'll loop over each individual review, and then we'll just print that we're going to classify that review. And then inside each individual review, we're going to have a system prompt, which says you are responsible for the classification of movie reviews. Please classify the following review as positive or negative. You must use only the following words, negative or positive. And then we've got the human message, which contains the content of specifically what that review. We're also saying if the content is not, that we get back from the LLM is not negative or positive, then we're throwing an error because we've got an invalid classification. And that's something we'd look at fixing in terms of on an individual basis. And so I can run this, and you'll see that we're actually generating different types of classifications for all of these types of reviews. And then we can go and have a look at the response of this afterwards. So it's going to print this out so you can see it's looping through each individual classification. And then what we're going to have at the end of this is a way for us to classify different reviews. So we finally finished and we've got all of our different reviews. One thing we could also do is we could import pandas, and then we could have a data frame, and we could zip up the reviews with the classifications. And so what you'll see here now is we're just going to import pandas, and this is going to make a data frame where for each of the reviews we're then going to zip that up with the classifications that came back. And now you can see we've got an easy, nice pandas data frame that we can save. So I'm going to save that, and then we've got this data frame that we can then manipulate, and then we can say this is the review and this is the classification, and we could do things like count the number of these classifications. So we can see that we had a total of 32 classifications. We could do various different types of operation in pandas. But the point I want to stress across to you is think about the way that you can use ChatGPT to label some of your data, and you can use this on text, you can use this on JSON data, anything that you want in terms of that. And it's also possible to use the Vision API with this type of information as well. So think about using ChatGPT as a classification engine, which you can use to get structured labeled data.